you guys, you can hear it in the video right here. The Indiana Fever fans were chanting, "Sophie, Sophie."
Hounding Clark. Clark, step back three.
Sophie Cunningham has officially taken her fight off the court and into the courtroom, suing WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert after the explosive Caitlin Clark incident. What started as a hard foul has now spiraled into a legal showdown that could shake the league to its core. Sophie says she's not just defending a teammate, she's exposing favoritism, double standards, and league failures. Could this be the lawsuit that rewrites how stars are treated in the WNBA? Buckle up, because this isn't just a headline, it's a reckoning. The blow that broke the silence. This chapter plunges into one of the most electrifying and unforgettable moments the WNBA has ever seen. The night Sophie Cunningham threw down a fierce, game-changing foul to defend her rising star teammate, Caitlin Clark. What started as a tense, high-stakes basketball game quickly turned into a historic flashpoint that shook the entire league to its core. It wasn't just another play on the court, it was a spark that ignited fierce debate, sparked outrage, and ignited calls for serious change across the WNBA. It all began with a single, powerful collision. Sophie's shoulder slammed hard into an opposing player's body with a force that couldn't be ignored. That hit sent a clear message, not just about protecting Caitlin in the heat of battle, but about standing up boldly and fearlessly for her. The crowd in the arena gasped in surprise, then erupted into cheers and stunned applause, sensing that something much bigger was unfolding. Sophie Cunningham wasn't simply committing a foul, she was lighting the fuse on a long-standing tension beneath the surface. For years, players and fans alike had quietly grown frustrated with the WNBA's inconsistent and sometimes questionable officiating. Missed calls, reckless fouls, and a lack of protection for key players had become all too common. Caitlin Clark, especially, had been targeted repeatedly this season, pushed, elbowed, and harassed on the court with little response from referees. Patience was running out, and Sophie's fierce foul was the breaking point, the moment someone finally said, "Enough is enough."
Just go tomorrow. You're on the Las Vegas Strip. What can the Las Vegas expect from Sophie?
Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so.
The reaction was immediate and explosive. Within minutes, video clips of the foul spread across social media, racking up millions of views and fueling endless arguments. Was Sophie over the line? Or had she done what the officials failed to do? Stand up and defend her teammate? This moment touched a nerve, exposing deep frustrations and concerns shared by players, coaches, and fans across the league. Sophie's action was far more than just physical. It was deeply symbolic. It spoke for every player who felt overlooked, every rookie who'd been pushed around, and every fan tired of seeing their favorite athletes hit and left unprotected. She wasn't just defending Caitlin's body, she was defending respect, fairness, and the dignity that every player deserves in professional basketball. The media jumped on the story. Sports talk shows debated fiercely whether Sophie was a courageous hero or an impulsive hothead. Headlines dominated sports news, and even casual observers found themselves captivated by the controversy. Ultimately, this wasn't just about one foul, it was about the heart and soul of the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham's bold move forced the league to face uncomfortable truths about player safety and fairness. It was a wake-up call no one could ignore. Sophie Cunningham's fierce foul became more than just a moment. It revealed deep officiating flaws and ignited a powerful push for player respect. Was it emotion or justice? Let's uncover how Caitlin Clark became the WNBA's unprotected star. WNBA's officiating crisis. Over the past few months, a troubling trend has emerged across WNBA courts, one that's left fans angry, players frustrated, and a rising star dangerously unprotected. At the center of it all is Caitlin Clark, the electrifying rookie who's captivated the nation with her fearless gameplay, long-range shooting, and game-changing presence. But behind the headlines and highlight reels lies a darker story. Clark is being targeted with brutal physical play, and the referees often look the other way. This isn't just normal basketball roughness. We're talking elbows to the face, hands to the eyes, and body checks that go far beyond the usual hustle. And the worst part? These fouls are happening in plain sight, yet referees routinely ignore them or hesitate to blow the whistle. Fans watching from home or courtside can see it. Replay after replay shows blatant hits with no consequence. The result? Clark is being left exposed to physical punishment that could injure her or derail her promising career. The question on everyone's mind is, why? Why isn't the league stepping in to protect one of its biggest new stars? Caitlin Clark isn't just another rookie. She's a ratings booster, a ticket seller, and a symbol of the league's future. So why does it feel like she's being hung out to dry? For many, it seems intentional. Opposing teams may be trying to rattle Clark, to knock her off her game or intimidate her into silence. But the bigger issue is the WNBA's failure to respond. This isn't just about missed calls, it's about the league's responsibility to ensure safety and fairness for all players, especially those under constant pressure and in the spotlight. Every uncalled foul sends the message that it's open season on Caitlin Clark. Then came a turning point: Sophie Cunningham. Fierce, loyal, and unafraid to make a statement, Cunningham saw what was happening and refused to stay silent. When an opponent once again took Clark down without penalty, Sophie responded with a hard foul of her own, loud, clear, and impossible to ignore. It was more than retaliation. It was a call for justice. Cunningham's bold move sparked national conversation. Fans, analysts, and fellow players demanded answers. Why had the league remained silent so long? How many more hits was Clark supposed to take before someone acted? The fallout has exposed deep cracks in the WNBA's system, flaws in officiating, player protection, and league accountability. Caitlin Clark's struggle has become more than a personal battle. It represents a crossroads for the league itself. Will the WNBA step up and protect its stars, or risk losing the trust of its players and fans? One thing is clear: the time for silence is over. Caitlin Clark's ongoing struggle has become more than just one rookie's challenge. It's a defining moment for the WNBA. Will the league protect its stars or remain silent? Let's dive into how Sophie Cunningham's bold hit sparked a movement and reshaped loyalty. From player to phenomenon. When Sophie Cunningham made that fearless, hard foul, everything on the court changed in an instant. What seemed like just another tough play quickly turned into something much bigger. Suddenly, Sophie was no longer just a player trying to win a game. She became a symbol of loyalty, courage, and standing up for her teammate when no one else would. From that moment, Sophie wasn't just playing basketball. She was sending a message to the whole league: protection matters. Almost overnight, fans gave her a new nickname that spread like wildfire online: Bodyguard Cunningham. This wasn't just about basketball anymore. It was about standing strong for your team and refusing to back down. People everywhere started paying attention. Sophie's jerseys flew off the shelves within hours, stores scrambled to keep them in stock, and social media exploded. TikTok was filled with slow-motion videos of her powerful foul, Twitter lit up with clips showing her fearless play, and the hashtag Bodyguard Cunningham raced to the top of trending lists. To many, she became more than just a player. She became a symbol of bravery and respect in women's basketball. But with the spotlight came controversy. Not everyone agreed with Sophie's aggressive move. Some critics called the foul reckless, saying it was too violent and might encourage dangerous behavior on the court. Coaches, fans, and commentators debated fiercely. Was Sophie a fearless hero standing up for her team, or had she crossed a line and put other players at risk? The conversation split the basketball community in two. Yet behind all the arguments was a deeper problem Sophie was highlighting. Her bold foul brought attention to an ongoing issue in the league: the lack of protection for rising star Caitlin Clark. Caitlin, a rookie shining bright in the WNBA, had faced several hard hits during games, many of which referees ignored or failed to properly call. Fans watched with growing frustration as the league seemed unwilling or unable to keep one of its most promising players safe. Sophie's action wasn't just about reacting to one play, it was a stand, a protest against the league's inaction. Her daring move sparked tough but necessary questions. What does loyalty really mean when those in charge won't step up? How far should teammates go to defend each other? And is it right for players to take matters into their own hands when officials won't protect them? In a single bold moment, Sophie Cunningham sparked a powerful conversation that went beyond basketball, shining a light on the urgent need for safety, fairness, and responsibility in the sport. Whether celebrated or criticized, she became a symbol of change. Now, the WNBA stands at a crossroads, facing a choice to either respond to calls for reform and better player protection or continue ignoring the growing demand for respect and fairness in the game. In the end, Sophie Cunningham's hit was more than just a foul. It was a powerful rallying cry that revealed deep flaws in the league. But does the story end on the court? Now let's delve into the lawsuit that could reshape the WNBA forever. Courtside to courtroom. As this unfolding drama continues, the spotlight now turns to a fierce legal battle Sophie Cunningham has launched against the WNBA. Feeling wronged and sidelined, Sophie refused to quietly accept the league's suspension, choosing instead to fight back with a lawsuit that challenges the very core of the league's disciplinary system. Her legal complaint is bold and direct, accusing the WNBA of selective enforcement, a claim that the league is inconsistent in how it applies its own rules. Sophie's attorneys argue that while other players have committed similar or even worse fouls without penalty, Sophie alone faced harsh punishment. Alongside this, she alleges defamation, saying that the league's public statements about her actions unfairly damaged her reputation and painted her as malicious, when in fact her intent was purely protective of her teammate, Caitlin Clark. This lawsuit demands more than just a legal win. It calls for the WNBA to publicly correct the record, to formally acknowledge that Sophie's suspension was unjust, and to clear her name once and for all. It's a fight not just for Sophie's career, but for fairness and transparency in a league that prides itself on championing its players. Meanwhile, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert has maintained a notable silence. No official statements, no public defense, no response to the lawsuit so far. Her quiet approach has only fueled speculation and concern among players, fans, and insiders alike. Behind the scenes, legal teams from both sides are preparing for a high-stakes battle that could reshape the league's disciplinary policies for years to come. This lawsuit places the WNBA at a critical crossroads. On one hand, the league can stand firm, defending its decisions and risking further backlash from players and supporters who feel the system is biased and unjust. On the other hand, it can use this moment to reflect, reconsider, and possibly reform how it handles discipline and player protection, showing a willingness to admit mistakes and grow from them. Sophie Cunningham's fight is more than a personal vendetta. It's a challenge to the league's authority, a call for accountability, and a rallying cry for players everywhere who want to see a fairer, more transparent system. Whether the WNBA chooses to resist or embrace this challenge will define its future, not just in this case, but in how it governs and supports its athletes moving forward. In the end, the question remains: will the league defend its actions, maintaining the status quo, or will it acknowledge that it failed a player who bravely stood up for her teammate, and in doing so, dared to hold the league accountable? The answer could rewrite the rulebook on justice and loyalty in professional women's basketball forever. Sophie Cunningham's lawsuit goes far beyond clearing her name. It boldly challenges a league system many players and fans believe is broken and unfair. How long will the officials stay silent on these serious allegations? Now let's dive into how Commissioner Cathy Engelbert addresses the officiating controversies fueling this unrest. Behind the whistle. In a recent media session, WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert took the opportunity to address the swirling concerns around officiating and other pressing league matters. Her remarks were direct, yet layered with insight and a hint of the complexity that comes with overseeing a professional sports league. Engelbert began by openly acknowledging that officiating is an area that can always be improved. There's always room for growth and improvement in officiating, she admitted, showing a willingness to recognize the imperfections and challenges that come with managing game officials in such a fast-paced and intensely scrutinized sport. It was a rare moment of candor in a world where league leaders often choose carefully crafted, non-committal responses. But then Engelbert offered a perspective shaped by her unique vantage point as the league's top executive, one that highlighted a pattern she has noticed over time. "I do find it interesting when you sit in the chair I sit in," she said, "that no winning team ever complains about officiating. No losing team ever doesn't complain about officiating." This simple, yet powerful observation touched on a universal truth in sports. Refereeing decisions are often seen through the lens of success or failure. In other words, the emotions tied to winning or losing heavily influence how officiating is perceived. When a team is winning, referees tend to be viewed more favorably. Calls may be forgiven or dismissed as minor mistakes. But for teams on the losing end, every whistle missed or questionable call feels magnified, becoming a symbol of unfairness or bias. Engelbert's comment captured this dynamic perfectly, highlighting that criticism of officials is as much about outcomes as it is about the calls themselves. Her words also subtly implied the difficulty of satisfying everyone when it comes to officiating decisions. No matter how well referees perform, there will always be someone unhappy with the outcome. It's a tricky balance. Officiating must be firm and consistent, but also human and fallible, subject to split-second judgments in a game filled with speed, contact, and passion. While Engelbert did not offer specific new solutions or a detailed plan for officiating reform in her remarks, her acknowledgement of the issue and her understanding of the emotional context behind complaints signaled that the league is aware of the tensions simmering beneath the surface. Her comments seemed to invite a broader conversation, one about how to improve officiating while also managing the inevitable disagreements and frustrations that are part of sports at the highest level. Ultimately, Cathy Engelbert's statements served as a reminder that officiating in the WNBA, like in all sports, is an imperfect art. It's an evolving challenge that requires patience, constant evaluation, and a willingness to listen to all sides. And importantly, it underscored that the true measure of officiating isn't just in the calls made, but in how those calls are perceived by teams, players, and fans, depending largely on who is winning and who is losing. So, what do you think about Sophie Cunningham suing Cathy Engelbert over Caitlin Clark? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.